So, if you're joining us for Painting Spring on March the 18th, that's Saturday, March the 18th, this is what you're going to need. So to start off with, you will need a canvas to paint on. I like a stretch canvas, but if you want to use canvas sheets on board, that's fine if you've got an easel, or you want to use canvas mounted on hardboard. Don't like it so much, but if that's what you want to play around with, that's fine. But it needs to be a canvas surface, not a paper one. And we're going to be making very exciting, interesting, abstracted landscapes. They're definitely on the side of impressionistic towards abstract, but there's still going to be some representational elements, some sort of feel within one element perhaps of the composition that's going to be quite representational. So what you'll need to bring with you, right, in the way of colour, I think this is really important. It's pretty important to have all the basics with you, but if you don't have these colours, you might feel like you've been a bit left out. So I really like a moody, Prussian-y kind of spring sky that meets these zesty greens. Got green gold here, which is such a beautiful, translucent, bright green. It's perfect for mixing to make those gorgeous golden spring colours. Then sap green, bright, fresh, because you're going to get that freshness just starting to spring through. And then really good idea to have like a lemon yellow or a bismuth yellow, something lemony like that slight sunlit spring sky. So we can bring that in as well. So that would be colour idea. Of course, it is dependent on the photograph or reference points you have brought to the session. So you're all going to go out and search for these spring moments in the landscapes around you. So take your camera phone, even when you go on a dog walk or just driving down the road, if you see a spring thing in a landscape setting, go for it, take some photos. And I say the term landscape relatively loosely. I quite like to have some sort of hint of maybe a horizon line or some converging lines, but it doesn't have to be. There might just be some expanse of trees and then a little bit of far away sky. So think about that when you're taking your photos. Of course, we can always play around with making a few sketches before we start, so it doesn't have to 100% come from a photo. Photo is a starting point. We don't copy stuff. Like I was saying, this is very much a abstract piece. So do bring a sketchbook and a sketching media. So you could go for graphite's the obvious one, but if you prefer to sketch in inks or pens or watercolor markers or whatever it is you like to sketch in, bring a little sketchbook or a couple of sheets of paper. We're just going to do some mock-ups of how the composition is going to look, because we need to brush up on composition. Okay, so in terms of the materials you'll need for the session, I would say a smaller this time palette knife with a point. Very important that it's got a point. Sponge roller. Really nice if you can get a pack of these. They're very cheap. You can probably buy them on Amazon for about £5 for a pack of 10 or something like that. But these are going to be brilliant for your look for the painting. I love a sponge lollipop. So it's like a brush, but that's made out of sponge. Again, really cheap. You can get it from one of the kiddies stores, or you can get it from the Works or Amazon again. They will not break the bank. Always good to have your paddle brush. For those who forgot that last time, I will have some with me if you don't own one. Cloth, always. That's a dishcloth, a pack of 7 from Tesco. I quite like that medium sort of weave. It holds the paint nicely. Really important is to have a synthetic sponge. I say synthetic because acrylic paint is most likely going to ruin your real sponges. So I get those really cheap. They're for washing cars. But they give you a really nice sort of organic pattern because they're made to look like an organic sponge. And trusty tea towel, that's what we'll need. If you do have a colour wheel, that's always good for colour mixing, and it might help you in your journey for this painting. And then most important, you will need your basics: table covering, your water pot, anything you need to clean your brushes, so maybe some extra rags, tissues. I always like to bring these for little spills on the floor or the desk, on your clothes. Other basic things would be a palette with wells as well, ideally, or a couple of these. You can economise. Use raid the recycling bin, use old packaging. That would be perfect. So just have your basics with you, and a basic paint kit as well. But I think those are the things you're going to most need for the session. If you don't turn up with those, there'll probably be bits and bobs you can borrow, but try and make sure you pack your paint kit. Yes, so really excited to look towards painting this very contemporary landscape. So we're going to get a little bit of representation this time. So I'm so looking forward to you joining me. And if you need any more information, just drop me a text, a call, or an email, and look forward to seeing you on Saturday, the 18th of March.